Joining me now is Steve Moore from Committee to Unleash Prosperity and Freedom Works and author of his book, Upzilla and Bugles. We should have had a bugle. Art Laffer, former Reagan economist, Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, and author of Taxes Have Consequences in Income Tax History of the United States. Welcome, Arthur.
Thank you very much, Larry. It's lovely being here. What a cool place this is.
Is this great?
Oh, I mean, it's cold. I mean, no, it's really cool.
It's got to be cold. That, by the way, is Steve Moore. I believe you too.
Good to meet you, sir.
Good to see you, Steve. Steve lives here. Anyway.
We've only written 3 books together.
Yeah, 3 books together. But
oh, that's right. Nothing could be better. So, Arthur, I know I want to go into the incentive model and the Laffer curve and so forth, but this make point. It just struck me today. You've got these big, government meetings in the White House and the Federal Reserve and all the rest of it. But the reality is, one of the many benefits about tax cuts, all right, and permanent tax cuts, lower rates, as you would say, it takes power from government, which is the problem. Reagan was quite right, and gives power to individuals, which is the solution. And I don't want that to get lost in all the good empirical analysis, because I think at some level, the kind of freedom enhancement from lower taxes is almost lost in the shuffle.
yeah. Well, may I also mention, just that I can, Brian Dimitrovic and Gene Sinkfield are my co-authors in this book.
Yes.
They're wonderful people. They did a lot on this book.
And Brian was my co-author.
I know he was your co-author.
Good man.
A great guy, by the way. We both get boosted by him, didn't we?
Yes.
The neatest thing is when you cut taxes, the rich people, the people with high incomes, don't feel it's necessary to shelter their income. And what you find is a huge drop in the sheltering, as well as they earn more because good economies obviously help the rich people. But that means that revenues really pop when you cut tax rates, because that base expands enormously, Larry, because they don't shelter their income and they report a lot more of it. And you get that revenue pouring in, which is just what happened under Reagan, what happened under Kennedy, as you showed in your book. And it also what's happened under Trump. Those taxes that they said were going to cost $1.5 trillion over 10 years, in the first 2 years, they paid for themselves plus a little bit extra. They not only didn't cost $1.5 trillion, they actually raised revenues to reduce the deficit, to provide that prosperity and the growth. It was just a perfect combination.
So I agree fully, but I want to go back to this other theme that Reagan launches. So tax cuts equal freedom, right? Tax cuts limit government. Just at the most basic area of reasoning. Look, I mean, as a pragmatic, if I keep more of what I earn, government doesn't keep more. And when government keeps more of what I earn, government does very strange things with it in the main. Not all bad, which defense is very, very important in security, but in the main. And we've seen that in Europe. We've seen that in communist countries, Russia, China, and so forth. We've seen a lot of that with social welfare spending in this country in recent years, right?
Yep.
The dignity of work suffers. There's no work requirements. But I'm just saying, I'm making a case that low taxes have many benefits to growth and prosperity. But one of the benefits of lower taxes is freedom increases, and that's a good thing.
Huge amount. Freedom increases, but also, Larry, the thing that's cool about it, too, is that in many cases, the government gets more revenues. I mean, under the Coolidge person, when you and I were just staffers in the office there.
No, you worked for Coolidge.
Okay, I worked for Harding.
I worked for Harding.
But we had 11 years of a surplus.
Yes.
I mean, the tax rates were 25%, and the thing just boomed. And the revenues came pouring in. It was beautiful. So it's a win, 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 win all the way around. There are less poor people. You have less welfare because people are getting better off. It frees not only the rich people with lower taxes, but it also frees the poor and the minorities, the disenfranchised, who finally get jobs and have incomes and have much greater freedom on their own. So it covers the whole base there, which is, I find the beautiful thing is everyone's better off.
Steve Moore, the Biden administration, led by the president and his economic advisors, say all these tax cuts just helped rich people. That's all they did. They helped rich people. What do you say to that?
Well, we just have the latest numbers that came in from the Tax Foundation that found that this past year actually, I think it was the 2020 data. That was the latest. Yeah. And they found that after the Trump tax cuts, you're going to love this one, Arthur. After the Trump tax cuts, not only a record amount of revenues, but a record amount of revenues from rich people. One of the things I really loved about the Trump tax cut was we did the repatriation. So we said to companies, hey, if you bring the money back in, we'll charge you, 10%, not 30%. And then we cut the corporate rate. And guess what? The money it was like a magnet. It really was. Now, I want to say one other thing. I've been so fortunate in my life to know Art Laffer, who, Larry, this guy deserves a Nobel Prize. And I'm not kidding. I mean, you should have a Nobel Prize. But
take Krugman's away and just give it to Arthur.
Wouldn't that be a great thing? But look, I was privileged.
I'm not a zero-sum guy, but in this case, I could be.
Take one away.
I'd have to wash it first.
Well, it's okay. We'll help you on that. But no, Steve is right.
My point,
because you're a revolution.
You should have a Nobel.
You
he's
were a
probably
revolutionary.
One of the most influential economists of the last 50 years. But probably the most influential economist over the last 75 years was Milton Friedman. And we all knew Milton Friedman. And I was really privileged to have dinner with him up in San Francisco towards the end of his life. And right before he died, I asked him, Milton, what is the most important thing we can do to get the economy growing faster? And he said, cut government spending.
Yes.
Spending has just become a cancer on the economy. And yeah, you're right. We need defense, we need roads, we need bridges, hospitals. But most of it now is just redistributing, taking from Peter and giving to Paul. And as you said, that hurts Peter's incentive to work and it hurts Paul's incentive to work. And we got the lowest labor force participation rate practically ever.
By the way, when we worked for Harding and Coolidge as staff people, in those days, there was still the idea that with respect to airports and roads and water systems, the private sector would do that. And I'm not sure we haven't. I mean, today's stuff, I know we spent $1 trillion on it. Schools.
Schools are really important that they be private. That's why vouchers are so good.
Yeah.
Because they let people get private schools for their kids to really get them educated and
compete.
And competition.
Yeah, right.
Exactly, Steve. That's just what it is. In fact, it's just so important to not have government in areas where the private sector can do it better.
Now, I agree with Steve that in a sense, the overriding issue has become gargantuan government. Federal government, 44% of GDP. Federal, state, and local government. Federal government, 24% of GDP. Yes. Federal, state, and local, 44% of GDP.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big number.
Big number.
And Milton was right. Milton said the ultimate tax burden is the spending burden on the economy. On the other hand, if you are heading into a recession, which is what it looks like, the economy's losing altitude on a daily basis. You had ISM manufacturing is down again. Looks like a soft jobs number, whatever. We should be talking about cutting spending and taxing.
That's right.
And I want to go back to a little piece of history. I think we talked about this remotely last week. Warren Harding, who, everybody beats him up just like they beat up Coolidge. But Warren Harding, with the post-World War I depression and inflation, he cut spending and taxing and reduced the deficit. In fact, retired the debt. Now,
huge amounts.
I'm not hearing that today, even amongst my Republican friends. It's pretty much all about the government spending. I'd like to hear some talk, either make the Trump tax cuts permanent, or actually, we had Jason Smith, the new head of the House Ways and Means Committee.
Great. He is great, by the way.
He is a smart guy. He said that they were going to try to actually build on the Trump tax cuts, which is a good idea. In other words, why not do both? Why not cut spending and taxing to get out of this malaise of inflation and stagnation?
Yeah. The neat thing about Harding and Coolidge is the Republicans really were good in that era. Prior to that, Herbert Hoover. After that, Herbert Hoover was not so great. I mean, here you have a situation where we have Republicans now that are not brought together with a prosperity agenda. We need the Republicans to be the guarantors of prosperity, the stewards of the economy.
I love that.
I mean, we need that desperately, where they unite and all have a common view of the economy is what we can do really well. We're not great at welfare. We're not great at all these. We're great at providing prosperity, and that's where the Republicans and Jason Smith, I think, we were with him last night. He's really good. And I think the Republicans can get their act together and make it happen.
Yeah, that should be the focus. As you said, the next Republican nominee, and undoubtedly the next president, will be the person who shows to be a steward of economic prosperity.
Exactly, just like the ones you did with Reagan.
Not 1.5% growth, but 3.5% growth.
More than that.
Right?
There's no reason why we can't have more. From January 1st, 1983 until, 1984 June, the economy grew 12%, 8% per annum.
18 months.
18 months, 12%.
By the way,
it's amazing.
The reason, I think if the stock market is still up, it was still up. The reason the stock market's up today, because it knows you're in town. knows that Art Laffer is.
Oh, my God.
Thank you. We're going to be with Arthur for his talk and then a dinner later on, and it's all great fun. And you better give me a copy of the book.
You got a copy
I
coming.
can't afford it.
You
You
got
know
a
that.
copy
It's a
coming.
bestseller, you know. It's on the bestseller list.
All right. I'm not surprised. Anyway.
Thank you.
Steve Moore, Art Laffer, you're both fabulous.